What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on what if Deku was the reincarnation of Mori Jin. Now, before we start off, I am gonna say some stuff because I know not everyone saw my last part of soul leveling. Yes, I did end off soul leveling, so if you want to go watch it, you can watch through all that now. I shouldn't really say end off, I more play on the back burner because I'm gonna do some different uploads and different what if Dekus, and right now I'm only gonna keep 3 up at one time, so I kind of let off soul leveling for the time being. But basically in it I stated that I'm gonna be doing another what if. It's gonna be a Black Clover what if, and also I changed my uploading schedule for hitting 200 subs. So if you guys knew my previous uploading schedule, which was Saturday and Sunday and every other day throughout the rest of the week was my uploading schedule. But now it's I upload Monday through Friday and I take breaks on Saturday and Sundays. So that's my newest uploading schedule, and that's everything I want to inform you all about. Everyone was shocked at Deku's impressive ability to easily, and I mean easily, blitz through everyone, using the acupuncture points to times his strength and endurance and speed. Well, not really his endurance gets shortened, but as well as being able to numb all the pain he felt for 3 hours by pressing a point on his chest. Of course, after that time is up, Deku will feel the repercussions of the injuries that he had faced. Next up was the cavalry battle after everyone else came into their positions. Deku instantaneously knew that finding teammates was going to be a lot harder. He looks around and nobody wants to team up with him. Todoroki kind of feels bad, but she gets pulled over by Bakugo before she can go over to Deku. So while Deku's looking around, Odro comes over and asks to be a part of his team because Odro liked Deku's martial arts, and knowing that Deku was a very well user of martial arts. Knowing that Deku can use martial arts very well. There we go. That's how you say that line. As well as Tokiyami. Tokiyami also came over and joined Deku's team, mainly because he felt like Deku definitely wasn't using his max power. You know, Tokiyami's using that as detective skills and was like, Deku's not even using maximum strength. The third and final person who came over was Mei Hatsume. She wanted to join the team mainly just because she wanted to test out her newer gadgets, and she couldn't think of a better location with the most amount of variables than Deku's team. After all 3 of them got together, Deku was placed on top, mainly just because of one reason. His plan was to use Yaoi to put himself in the air, put his whole entire team in the air with Yaoi, keeping himself stationary. And because of that, he needed some time. Sorry if I'm taking too many breaths, I just got out of the shower, so I'm kind of low-winded because it's cold in my room and it was really warm in the shower. So, the battle starts. Deku was placed on top, and Deku tells everyone to move out of the center. Everyone obliges as Deku, using the pole, says, Yaoi, expand and grow bigger. Doing that, Deku creates a giant pillar that he's standing on, with everyone else standing on there as well. Everyone in the audience is just looking at this giant pillar that came out of nowhere. It sees that its Team Izuku is on it. Everyone was just shocked. Some of the pro heroes kind of looked at it weird, because they're like, that doesn't seem to be a quirk. That seems to be a national treasure. See, some pro heroes gain national treasures by doing certain achievements. Now, the use of national treasures isn't really not allowed in the competition, mainly because there is no rule stating national treasures could not be used, because no student will have a national treasure, because most of the national treasures were all grabbed by the nation itself. So they see this, and some of the people in the stands are kind of like calling out. It's like, that kid has a national treasure. That has to be a national treasure. It's a national treasure. And everyone else is yelling about this. When Principal Nezu gets on the mic and says, yes, that student does have a national treasure, but you must remember that national treasures are allowed to be used. National treasures are extensions of one's body because they get chosen to have a master. If this national treasure has chosen this boy to be its master, then it's no different from this boy accepting a quirk. The audience is kind of outraged, but most people kind of don't know what to say. And then Principal Nezu adds in that not using the national treasure would be like not using any support items in this competition, which anyone from the support class uses support items. That pure logic alone that the national treasure should be outlawed is insolence. Please, do rectify your decisions. Everyone else kind of grumbles, as Deku is kind of like, yeah, I guess this can be seen as kind of unfair. And he shrinks Yaoi and he goes back down to the ground. They're quickly falling, extremely quick. And Deku's like, oh, this was a horrible idea. Luckily, before they fall directly on the ground, Mei Hatsume activates her boots, slowly trying to soften the fall. The fall was too much for her. Luckily, they were able to land thanks to her help. But both the boots were shattered because of it. Deku's like, great, that's another thing we can't use. Kids started to try to attack Deku now that Deku was off the pillar. Deku also stuck it in his pocket to make sure that no issues were happening with it. Enemies came from the left and right. Two teams. One was on the left, who seemed to be using some sort of quirk. Most of the people on the team didn't even look like they were even alive. They all looked soulless, while the person on top was smiling and laughing. And the other person didn't seem to have a quirk, or he wasn't trying to let it off. The person coming from the left, Deku quickly took care of by just using the air pressure of his punch and knocking him off, causing that team to be momentarily disqualified and not allowed to move until the top member got back on, while the other guy came up and touched Deku from behind, trying to copy his quirk. But since there was no quirk to copy, he couldn't copy it. This threw him off guard, as he quickly was like, wait, you don't have a quirk? And Deku's like, nope, as he straight up kicks the other guy, sending him flying into the wall, and then quickly jumps back onto his own horse army. No one else attacked Deku, especially Bakugo and Todoroki, that knows how strong Deku is and understands that it's not worth trying to fight Deku in this state. Afterwards, everyone else was just shocked at Deku's power. Not only does this kid have a national treasure himself, he also seems to impressively have tons of strength. Next up, the fights started happening, the tournaments. Deku was first up against the guy who he punched earlier. Ojiro didn't tell him that he had a mind control quirk, that Shinso had a mind control quirk, so Deku had no clue about it. First off, Deku walked up there, and he said, "Hi, my name is Izuku Midoriya, and your name is?" And he responds that, "My name is Shinso. How's your day?" Deku responds, "Great, yours?" And just then, Deku realized he can't move. He can't say anything. This threw Deku off. He had no clue what to do by this point. Deku tried to get out, no matter what he could do, but he couldn't. His opponent just started to laugh, saying, "Now let's see how strong your quirk is. See, everyone calls my quirk villainous because it's used to inactively mind control people and force them to do whatever I want, as long as it's a simple action. I know you can hear all of this while I'm speaking. You yourself should understand that, seeing how you're under the effects of it." Deku's like, how do I break out of this? Deku knows he can't really move his body at all. He can only focus. So Deku can't even alterate his breaths to try to do anything. So Deku decides that since he can mentally call out the dragon armor, that he has to do it. He remembers All Might telling him, do not use the dragon armor under whatever circumstances, but Deku totally dismays this. He has most of his memories, so he already knows how capable he is with his dragon armor. He also knows tons of other things as well. He also knows that Neonox is still around, and that he can't really fool around with these lower leveled people. So Deku summons the dragon armor. Just summoning it was enough to create enough force to snap him out of it. No one really saw what happened, but all they saw was Deku turning around and looking right back at Shinso. And he was like, that's one really cool quirk coming from a person who doesn't have one. No one saw what Deku did other than All Might, who saw the armor quickly appear on Deku and then disappear. So if you're wondering how Deku was able to actually summon the armor, he mentally summoned. He didn't physically say the dragon armor, because throughout the series, Deku doesn't have to say dragon armor to summon the dragon armor. So him just summoning it makes him stronger at base. So when Deku took the next step, right before he took it, he summoned it. So when he summoned it, the ground shattered beneath him, causing him to get knocked out of it thanks to the physical rocks that were hitting him during that time. That was enough to snap him out. Deku then deactivated the dragon armor as soon as he realized he was out of the Shinso's control. Just to give you a recap of what happened, because it happened really quickly. Shinso's like, what? How did you get out? Deku didn't say anything though. He remembered he got mind control after he responded to Shinso's comment. So there was no reason to respond. After doing so, Deku sent one kick. The triple hit kick. I can't remember the exact name of the kick itself, but it's the kick where he hits the two temples on the side and the back of his head, all in one failed quick kick. He does this real quickly. Shinso falls to the ground, unconscious. Deku is declared the winner. After the fight, All Might talks with Deku and he's like, Izuku, I saw what you did. And Deku's like, yeah, I know. You told me not to do it. I told you not to do it for a fair reason. If anyone knew what power that you hold, they would instantaneously come after you and try to take you on. Deku's like, the only person now that could honestly take me on is someone of God level. And most of the people here don't even have God level. That's not the issue. I was talking with the Jade Emperor while we were there. I know about this organization called Neonox. As soon as they find out about your power, they're going to be hunting after you. They're going to want to kill you. They want you gone. You are the biggest threat to not only them, but to the gods themselves. Yeah, I know. But if that comes down to it, I'll just get to fight some of the strong fighters again. Yes, I know you've fought these people before, but you were also killed by these people. Deku remembered his death from Mujin Park after he fused with Tsuga, whatever the god's name is. Deku's like, yeah, I understand. This could end horribly. Yes, so do not use the dragon armor again. You're already exposing yourself so much by not only using Yaoi as commonly as you are, but also using Re-Taekwondo. If I remember correctly, only 2 people know the technique very, very well in this time period. And that's you and also the Dragon Lord, if I remember her name was correctly. Oh, yeah, the Dragon Lord. I remember, Mira told me next time I had a chance to go talk with her. She said it's a friend that I knew, but I don't know her anymore, or at least I don't accurately remember. She said that the Dragon Lord has one of my 4 items that I can pick up. Or, she said one of them's not really an item, it's more of a creature. But yeah. So wait a minute, there's more to your arsenal? Yeah. For example, I know what the other 2 items are and what their basic abilities are. One of them is called the Getsugan. The Getsugan is a massive emergence of clouds that can be compressed to where I could stand on it. Not to mention, I can also summon lightning whenever I want. And then the final item is the 7th owner. The 7th owner can infinitely multiply, as well as protrude spikes out of itself, and it's a very avid material, being able to morph and change its physical attributes to whatever I need it to fit. And which one of these is the more alive one? The 7th owner. It rules over the 7th realm of heaven, the 7th heavenly realm. And how many heavenly realms are there? Oh, there's 7. So is 7 like the strongest one or the weakest one? All the heavenly realm owners aren't really the strongest or the weakest. But I had more trouble with the 7th owner than I did with the 6th or the 5th or the 4th. But then again, I had my friend for those ones. Okay. So I just want to get a gauge. How old are you? Well, accurately, I guess you can say I'm pretty old. What do you mean by that? Well, see, I don't have my original life's memories, but I can guarantee you I'm at least have memories from 400, 500 years ago. Back when I lived as Mori Dan, and before that when I lived as Mori Jin. 400, 500 years ago. Isn't that when the first quirked baby showed up? Yeah. So, All Might, you should have understand by now that quirked personnel aren't quirked personnel. They're not quirks. They're borrowed power users, or actually no, they create their own divine energy inside themselves after the taboo was broken. Mujin Park, after defeating me, decided to try to manipulate the regular humans' memories. Gods got to keep their memories, and I guess that accounts for half-gods too, which is the Jade Emperor and Empress, which are both half-gods. Speaking of it, in the stands, 2 old-looking personnel are sitting in the stands. One was a female, one was the male. They both had white hair. "I can't believe you dragged me down here," Mira said. The Jade Emperor laughed. "Huh. Chill out. We're here supporting a friend." "Yeah, a friend who decided to become a stupid hero." God, I don't understand why he didn't just decide to run away from this whole hero biz and actually try to regain all of his memories. Hey, think about it. He loves to fight. Yeah, but he has bigger problems to fry. We gotta fix the entire timeline. Fair enough, but hey, it's all good. Let him have some fun. And also, it makes it way easier for him to blend in and act like a civilized personnel, rather than him being, well, the Mori Jin the gods know. He's a Zuku Midoriya now. We have to give him time. He doesn't even have back all of his memories yet. Yes, I know. So just let him have some fun. In the meantime. I told him to go to the Dragon Lord next, Mira says. Oh, you did? Yeah. I told him to go there mainly because she holds Getsugan, which would be very useful for him to get. Speaking of which, how she survived so long? Me and you both have one of the parts of the Jade Emperor, but how has she survived so long? I don't know, it's some bullshit about dragon magic. Yeah, I know. You gotta remember, she's the owner of like 300 plus dragons now. Yeah, fair enough. Maybe she's using lifesteal and stealing the lives off of them. That is horrible. Hey, maybe that's the case. Fair enough. Dragons do live exponentially longer than humans. Yep. Well, let's just patiently watch. I know Deku went off, so let's go see if we can go find him. Yeah. Especially because he used the dragon armor. Yeah, you saw that too? Yep. Eventually, Mira and the High, I can't say his name for whatever reason, found Deku. And Deku was still getting scolded by All Might for using the armor and everything. Out of nowhere, Mira and the Jade Emperor both entered the room, saying, "Oh, calm down, old man. It's his item anyway," Mira says. Mira is still having a distaste for heroes, mainly because she finds it stupid. Men and women dressing up in tights trying to fight crime. Something out of an 8-year-old's fantasy. Probably something not Mori Jin, but Mujin Park decided to set up. Whatever. All Might's like, "But you guys know of the threat that Neo-Nux provides for him. I can't have my student endangering himself." "Your student is way older than you and way older than us, and we're half-gods. Your student could easily defeat you. He can't defeat us just yet, but as soon as he gets back the rest of his items, he'll be able to easily defeat us." God. And if he keeps actually training, especially if he keeps his act undercover, which I understand, that's the reason why you're yelling at him. We don't want him to have to fight any of the gods just yet. As long as he keeps his act undercover, he could have easily defeated the gods. And now that he has a brand new body that isn't screwed up by doing 250,000 times, I'm pretty sure it's 250,000 times his original body strength, then he wouldn't have even gotten his butt beat back during the fight against the god. Not to mention, even then he wasn't at his max power. He's insanely strong. No one should even be able to fight against him, but thanks to the issues that happened, he's actually able to be weakened. But whatever. Keep spouting whatever you want to spout, old man. All Might kind of gets annoyed by being called old man, but he understands that this person, for lack of a better word, in front of him is infinitely older than him. Not to mention is infinitely stronger. He couldn't even see how they were fighting when Deku was actually training his dragon armor, much less actually understand. He also wasn't even allowed to enter the room unless if he was supervised by one of the other members that were there, mainly because he couldn't even fight. It's insane to think that there are so many stronger individuals than him. And yes, I understand. Okay, I am going to get into this real quickly, because I know there's going to be people in the comments section upset that All Might is basically not able to really fight on par with half the people here. But to be accurate, okay, I'm going to use Buster Scaling, and if you don't know what Buster Scaling is, it's able to destroy the object with a single punch. So All Might, currently, you got to remember, All Might's not in his prime, nor has he really given up a quirk to Mirio yet. He's about to, though. He's doing private training with Mirio. But I don't think I at least gave Mirio the quirk already. I might have given Mirio the quirk, but I'm going to state he hasn't done it just yet for continuity reasons. I might have been retconning. I don't know. Okay. All Might, currently, in the current time period right now, he has One for All still coursing through him. He can only use it for 3 hours, though. At most, could maybe be, I want to say, a quarter of a city buster. In one attack, he can destroy an entire quarter of the city. Now, Prime All Might could easily be a city buster. Easily be city. I don't think I would give him island, though. He could easily be city, and if the island was small enough, then definitely island. But easily city buster and prime. Now, for example, Mujin Park, before the GOH tournament, before the events of God of High School, was able to almost fly on an entire island with just his hand in one attack. Now, Mujin Park is low scale compared to Mori Jin at the end of the series, who was on capabilities to say at least Continental Buster. Yeah, Mori Jin, at least by the end of the series, by the end of God Arc, when he was fighting Satan, 666 Satan, not Beelzebufel, or Beelzebub, however you say his name, could wipe out entire continents. Easily. Like, when the gods were going rampant, easily could have happened. And the six, which only one member of the six are still around. And yes, you got the new Gen 6 technically in the manga. I mean, not the manga, but the webtoon. But I'm not going to count the new Gen 6 in this story. Mainly because I want the webtoon to get kind of farther before I state anything about that. But one of the original six is still there. Now, I'm going to get back to story. So people who are All Might fans, please do understand, I'm not lowballing All Might. All Might is still at least a quarter of a city buster currently right now. Because just one punch with Air Prester could destroy an entire street currently. But then again, at most, he would be city buster. In his prime, too. I'm not counting out of prime. I'm counting in prime. Okay, back to the story. The fights continued on until Deku was about to go up again. This time he was facing Todoroki. Endeavor was there and he's like, make my son use his fire side. And Deku goes, why would I do that? Well, you see, my son doesn't choose to use his fire side. He only chooses to use his ice side. Well, going off of what I can tell, he doesn't really need his fire side for most things he does. Just make him use it. And Deku looks back at the man, he's like, why? He's like, you're talking back to me, Endeavor? And and Deku's like, excuse me, sir. Please, do pay mind that you're asking me to force your son to use your fire side, which obviously he has issues with. Not to mention also there are other issues with him mentally. I can tell this just by his actions alone. He's a heckin' edgelord, for Christ's sake. Endeavor starts to get madder and flames start to appear on his body. He's like, you wanna go, kid? I don't think you wanna go. Sir, please do understand. I would be able to easily defeat you. And I would be able to easily defeat Todoroki too. But I'm gonna make Todoroki see the truth. Not for your sake. I'm gonna do it for his sake. He needs to learn how to control both sides. So I'm gonna help him with that. Now please, let me go to my tournament match. Endeavor just scoffs, knowing that Deku wasn't lying when he said he could easily take him on. And just lets Deku move along. That kid had a national treasure. That has to mean he's at least strong to be in the top 10 pro heroes. As he is now. Not to mention that one step he took earlier destroyed the arena. This kid is incredibly strong. Deku walks up onto the stage. In front of him is Todoroki. The match starts. Todoroki instantaneously starts using ice. Deku doesn't even fight. He's just constantly dodging Todoroki's attack. Todoroki's starting to get confused, wondering why Deku won't fight. Deku keeps dodging. This keeps up for 5 minutes as Todoroki is still sending Ice Blast after Ice Blast after Ice Blast after Ice Blast to Deku. Deku just looks towards Todoroki and he's like, you do know, if you want me to attack, you better use your fire side. And Todoroki starts to get angry. He's like, what, did my father set you up for this again? Is that why you've only been dodging my attacks? I know you could have easily defeated me at the start, but you've only been dodging. No, I actually told off your dad when you tried to get me to use your fire attacks. See, my issue is with you, Todoroki, is that you think your quirk's your father's. But it's not. It's yours. Last time I checked, coming from someone who's quirkless, your abilities are your own. They're no one else's. Hence the reason why I can't just take it. It's yours. It's not mine. It's not your father's. It's no one else's. Todoroki, still being upset, keeps sending Ice Blast after Ice Blast. He's like, fine. You know what? If you want my fire side to come out that bad, then here you go. As Todoroki starts to enlight his right side, sending fire as well as ice. And Deku's like, finally. Deku then quickly goes around to the back of Todoroki and performs a Whis chop at the back of the neck. And now if you don't know what Whis chop is, that's where the person just falls unconscious after getting chopped in the back of the neck. And Whis is a character from Dragon Ball Super, if you didn't know. Just chops him in the back of the neck. Todoroki gem falls down, which Deku catches before he falls, laying Todoroki on his back. Deku looks up at Endeavor, and Endeavor is looking all smug, thinking that he finally used his fire side. Deku then walks off stage, being still mad at Endeavor. The rest of the battles go on as they are in canon. Not much changes from all of them. Most of the people who participated earlier got to participate again. And finally, the final battle. Bakugo had gone up to semifinals. He's like, it's finally time to fight, you muscle brain. And Deku's like, yeah, you're right, Bakugo. It's been a long time. Bakugo, you usually call me Kachan. Yeah, I guess so. But now it's Bakugo. Bakugo starts firing explosions, rapidly trying to get to Deku. He fires the explosion right at Deku. Deku just blocks it with his arm and shrugs it off. Deku's like, I was waiting for this competition to be so much funner, he says as he starts jumping up and down, kind of like a Street Fighter character. And Bakugo's like, what do you mean? And Deku's like, no one here is really strong. As Deku's just guarding all the attacks with his bare limbs just being out there. Doesn't even have dragon armor activated, man, mind you. Just basically bare blocking. As Bakugo comes in for a final explosion, Deku then knocks Bakugo away with just a single kick, sending Bakugo flying out of the arena and into the wall. Deku's like, God, I really need to go ahead and go do something else. Training with anyone now would just be boring. Deku ends up winning UA. Everyone is still shocked. Deku just basically stomped on everyone. Everyone got washed out by Deku. Deku is now thinking about Neonux. He understands the current situation. He doesn't know who's running it, but he knows that they have connections to the gods and could easily bring forth another Ragnarok for say. Deku then starts to think about what happens if he just leaves UA. UA isn't actually helping as much, or maybe he can actually talk with the Hero Association themselves to just get him a hero license so he can quickly actually get his work done. Deku just shrugs about this, thinking it's not really important right now. He'll continue to think about it later when he talks with Mira and them. But until then, Deku then walks off the stage after gaining his reward and walks back to his friends, as well as All Might standing there. And that's where I'm going to leave it off, guys. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. And I do want to state, when we reach 500 subs for the next 2 weeks, as you know, when we reach 100, for a whole entire week's worth of content, I'd upload it daily, except for Saturday because I got injured. So I couldn't really upload that day, and that was my bad. But when we reach 500, I'll do 2 weeks worth of content, making it extended. And for the new What If that's coming out, it should come out on Wednesday if everything goes according to plan. So, once again, I'll leave it off. Thank you guys for watching the video, and until next time, goodbye.